for kids removed from care. Dad's mental health is spiraling. Parenting time has been suspended since December, and today, he just got kicked out of his own court hearing. This is Juvenile Court Case 24-177NA, and it's about to get intense.
Okay, thank you everyone for your patience today. I know we're getting started a little later than expected. We are broadcasting on YouTube today, so if you can avoid using the children's names formally, I would appreciate it. And the names of our participants, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Nicole Underwood, lawyer guardian ad litem for the minor children.
Ms. Sasha Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Beach.
Ashley Beach, I'm the foster care supervisor from Fostering Solutions.
Michael Brooks, I am the attorney for Dustin King, father in this matter.
Your name for the record?
Dustin King.
Thank you. So we're here specifically as it relates to Mr. King, his progress, to review that as well as the parenting time. May I have your reports whenever you're ready, Ms. Evans?
Ms. Jenner, I was able to, since we bifurcate the parents, I met with the children probably about 6 weeks ago, but it's been between the last hearing for Mr. King, the younger three at least. They all seem to be excelling. They're doing very well in their placements, as well as the older two boys are doing very well in school. The oldest that's living in the foster placement is really starting to regulate his behaviors and his emotions. He is less fearful of people and things now. He's very lovable. He seems to be very happy. He wanted me to read him a story when I was at the school with him last time, and he's really starting to say more words and have more vocabulary. The teacher was concerned because the child had seen the police go by the school, and he hollered out to the class that we need to run and hide because the police are going to come and take us, which was a concern to me. So we're trying to figure out how to work through that. The younger boy is also doing very well in his school. He's enjoying that, and he's learning a lot. He's getting the services and things that he needs. And the youngest child, the daughter who just recently turned 2, is really doing very well. She's making a lot of progress. Her vocabulary is also really starting to really explode, for lack of a better word. The placement indicates that she talks more than the boys, and once you get her started, she's not stopping her talking. But they all are very happy. They're all very bonded to their caregiver and to each other. So they're all doing very well, and I recommend that they continue to be in that placement. The oldest child, who is just Mr. King's son, who is placed with his mother out of county, I have a lot of concerns about. I met with him in person at his school last week, and he's a happy kid. He's a resilient kid, but there are concerns in his home with his mom, which we have been trying to work through with jurisdictional issues and things like that. But as I'm sure it will be discussed more, we have been working with his school and Jackson County's CPS to ensure that there's a safety plans and some services in place for his mother and for him, so that his needs are being met. He does have some significant mental health needs as well as trauma that need to be addressed. And I think that we have a plan that's working well there. So assuming that all of those services are in place and his mom is utilizing those services and helping ensure that the child gets to the appointments and the things that he needs to get to, I believe staying there is in his best interest, assuming again that his mom is doing what she needs to do for him. Thank you.
Thank you. Testimony any opening comments from any of our other attorneys?
No.
No, Your Honor.
Testimony, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you.
Mr. King, please keep your, Mr. King, you're going to need to keep your voice down during the proceedings to avoid interruptions in the record.
Oh, good.
Ms. Thomas, testimony today?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll call Ms. Beach.
Okay. Deputy Ames, Ms. Beach joins us in the
You guys need to communicate.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Beach. Can you briefly state how you are familiar with this matter?
Yes, I am the assigned foster care supervisor.
And as a supervisor, do you meet regularly with the ongoing caseworker, Ms. Madrid?
Yes, we meet at least monthly to discuss the case and any needs. I participate in family team meetings, and then I also approved the report that was submitted.
Okay. And so you are familiar with the report that's in front of the court today, correct?
Yes.
And can you, just for convenience, I know that this has been adjourned a couple of times. Can you give us the date of the report?
The report, I apologize, let me pull it up. It was submitted to the court on April 2nd.
Okay. And have there been any other documents that you're aware of that have also been submitted to the court? I believe there might have been like a recommendation from Bernier.
Yes, Ms. Madrid did submit that recommendation letter from Ms. Moore.
Okay. And at this time, as I know that we're also here on, I believe, parenting time, but as it relates to the progress in this case towards reunification, how would you describe Mr. King's level of compliance with and benefit from his case service plan?
At this point, his mental health and instability is still our primary concern. We have had several service providers also express concerns about his mental health and paranoia. The children's CTAC assessments, his psychological evaluation, and the recent parenting time evaluation with Brene Moore echo concerns about his mental health and stability. So just that is our primary concern, is his instability at this time, and making sure that he's addressing his mental health needs. When Ms. Madrid and I met with him in April for a family team meeting, we discussed services that have been recommended for his psychological evaluation, which includes a psychiatric assessment. And he agreed to participate in that assessment, but was adamant that he would not take medication. However, he has a hard time initiating these services, and I think he has difficulty like managing his schedule and attending appointments. So Miss Madrid had to meet him at Adrian Counseling on Wednesday of last week to help him get that assessment started. So he did initiate that service with the help of Miss Madrid. We do not have the full psychiatric assessment yet. And as it relates to parenting time, it's been suspended for Mr. King since December. Dr. Park, who completed the psychological evaluation, recommends a period of 6 months of mental health stability prior to reinstating parenting time. And Ms. Moore provided that recommendation for parenting time, stating that he should not have visitation with his children until he is able to demonstrate stable mental health.
And then the other components of his case service plan, such as like housing and some of those basic, those baseline measures, has there been any progress or anything changed as it relates to the, excuse me, those things?
No, not to our knowledge, and not at this time. Mr. King has been hesitant to share information with us about his employment or where he is residing. But he says where he's residing now with a friend is not his long-term plan. So still unstable as it relates to obtaining appropriate housing as well.
Okay. And then you mentioned the employment. Is there any proof of employment?
Not that we've received.
Okay. Are there any other elements on the case service plan that you believe would need attention during this next review period?
Primarily, it's just addressing his mental health needs through participation in services and following recommendations from evaluations that are completed. And then we would also be referring him for parent education as well.
And has there been any started like parenting education or anything like that?
Not yet.
Have those referrals been made?
Yes. And to be honest, it's been hard to for Ms. Madrid to communicate with Mr. King at times. There have been scheduled meetings that he doesn't attend, and then there was a period of time where his phone was turned off. So we've had difficulty in that regard, but we will make referrals for parent education.
Okay, but has there been has there been good communication lately, or how have things been? I would say maybe in the last month or so.
I would say communication. His phone was turned off for a brief period of time. This over the last month, but he communicates. He returns contact with Miss Madrid. So,
okay, and then one of the other questions that we, or one of the other issues I think that has been sort of looming. The reason the children came into care was, I guess, I mean, not just neglect, but also there were concerns about domestic violence. Has that been addressed in any way?
Sorry. Not yet. Yes, that is a concern of ours. That is something that when Mr. King begins engaging in individual counseling, we will ask the counselor to work on with him.
Are you aware of any referrals that have been made to any like DV specific services? Were you able to hear me?
No, I apologize. I froze.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if you were aware of any referrals that have been made to domestic violence specific services. Like I know that there's a class with John Bailey, and I believe that even Michelle Palmer does some. I was just wondering about that.
So Mr. King has completed John Bailey's DVAP program previously. He also utilizes John Bailey as a support when we meet for family team meetings and such. I can ask Mr. Bailey if we can make a referral for Mr. King. And then we can also look into the other option as well that you just provided.
Okay, thank you for that information. And then as it relates to parenting time, I know that you've already mentioned that some of the service providers or the service providers that have made recommendations would like to see some stabilization in Mr. King's mental health before parenting time begins. Do you have a way of measuring that? Or would you be looking to have reassessments? Just trying to get some guidance on the expectations to move forward.
We would be looking for updates on progress from service providers. So getting engaged in individual counseling and psychiatric services. And then, yes, Dr. Park did recommend a reassessment after he starts to receive some of those services. So that's what we would be looking at.
Okay, and is there anything else that you'd like to report to the court today?
I don't believe so. I think Ms. Underwood accurately described what's going on with each of the children. So I don't have anything else at this time.
Okay, thank you. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Beach. You would move to admit the court report. And I believe in addition to the court report, there was a later sent letter from Ms. Moore that we would also like to read at this time.
So by way of review, I have the April 11th, we received an April 11th court report. I have an email dated Monday, April 14th. I have a ICWA cover sheet. I have some other ICWA documents. It looks like the same cover sheet that maybe had been spaced out and reprinted. I have 2 letters from the Cherokee Nation, and I have the psychological evaluation from Ms. Dr. Parks, dated 2/27/25. Is that what I should have?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No.
Objections. Thank you, they are received. Questions for this witness, Mr. Brooks?
How long has it been since my client has seen his kids?
His last visit was in December of 2024.
What is the minimum requirements you would have to allow him to start seeing his children again?
Engagement and compliance with mental health.
Ms. Beach, it sounds, sorry, the best analogies, it sounds like you're underwater.
I apologize. Can you hear me better now?
That's much better, yes. If you could start your answer over, please.
Okay. Engagement in and progress in mental health services is where we would start for that. And then reassessment by Dr. Parks and Ms. Moore regarding parenting time.
Now, my client just passed me a note here a few minutes ago, something about he's concerned that his oldest child is being molested, I guess, in rural county. Do you know anything about that? Jackson County?
So Mr. King did express concerns during that child's CTAC assessment that he had been molested when he was younger, and we called a complaint in, but there was not enough information to proceed with that complaint any further, but I'm not aware of any current concerns of molestation.
Here's the problem. Dad has severe paranoia and unstable mental health. The psych eval says he needs 6 months of mental stability before even supervised visits can happen. But he refuses medication, misses appointments, and won't engage with psychiatric services. Even the parenting time evaluator said staff aren't safe around him. This isn't about punishment. It's about protecting these kids.
Sir, you can't talk to me while I'm trying to cross-examine the witness. It doesn't work.
Well, it seems like nobody has their stuff together.
Mr. King, you've got to try to allow the proceeding to go forward so that we can look at the case. Please try to refrain from interrupting. We need to finish the hearing, Mr. King.
Do you personally get involved with that older child, Mr.
Yes.
Dustin King Jr.?
Yeah.
Could you give us an update on what his status is?
Yes, so like Ms. Underwood shared, we have had some concerns about Dustin's placement with his mother, who is a non-respondent. We've had concerns about educational neglect, and mom has reported sexual abuse concerns between the siblings in the home and has stated that Dustin may be the perpetrator. And then we have also had concerns about Dustin's mental health. He did express some suicidal ideations during this reporting period. So we initiated Lifeway services for him, and there are safety plans in place. But several CPS complaints have been made regarding the concerns that we have. And there is an open CPS investigation at this time, and referrals are being made to support the family as a whole to address the concerns that are present.
So things are not looking that great where he is either, right?
Correct, we have concerns.
You say that my client is not going to see or not following up with his meetings with either the department or with the service providers?
Correct. There was one family team meeting that was scheduled with you, Mr. Brooks, that he did not attend. And then Mr. King has said that he initiated services through Masterpiece in Tecumseh, but when we followed up with Masterpiece, they reported that he was not an established client there. So, and then we've asked him to initiate psychiatric services as well, and he's needed help to get those started.
And you're providing that now?
Yes.
So if he starts those programs and attends dependably, you will revisit the issue of parenting time, or at least visitation time?
Yeah, and that would be based upon his engagement in services and progress in services.
I see. Thank you. That's all I have.
Questions, Ms. Underwood?
I have no questions.
Right. Ms. Beach, as I'm sure you're very familiar with the standard for suspending parenting time, can you help us or review the actual risk of harm associated with allowing Mr. King to have parenting time at this juncture?
Yes, I believe that his mental health and paranoid behavior could cause direct emotional harm to the children. The last visit that we had before suspension, he was very accusatory towards staff and was talking about case-related details in front of the children that were not appropriate and had to be redirected several times. But overall, just his own behavior and unstable mental health, I think, could impact the children's emotional stability as well.
Thank you. Redirect Ms. Thomas.
Yes. Ms. Beach, based on that, the judge's question to you, Ms. Moore in her letter, did she also have safety recommendations for staff when meeting with Mr. King?
Yes, she said that even having 2 workers present may not alleviate the safety risks to being around Mr. King based on his behavior and paranoia.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Any other questions, Mr. Brooks?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Underwood.
Ms. Beach, are there concerns that if Mr. King does have parenting time without his mental health being adequately treated, that the progress the children have made over the last several months would essentially be undone?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right. Any other witnesses today, Ms. Thomas?
I have no one else, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
I would like to call Mr. King, who seems to have a lot on his mind this morning.
Mr. King, come on up to our witness stand.
I want you to, if those will help you, you go ahead. I don't want him back.
Right now.
No.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Brooks.
Mr. King, you seem unusually agitated this morning.
Very much so.
Tell me why.
I feel like I've been lied to about a lot of things since December.
By whom?
Fostering Solutions, taking my visitations away because they did not like the way I proceeded to protect my children or myself. With that matter being said, Leslie Conrad ripped Lincoln's arms up like this and slammed his the baby gate against him. I asked about grievances. The next day, my visits were taken. A few other things are a little accusatory because they're, like I said, there's no cameras present, and there should be. After the initial November 22nd deal with all this that happened, I got my diagnosis of autism, or 3 mutated genes, which MTHFR gene, or MTHFR gene being mutated causes vitamin B6 to drop. Well, that is a mood stabilizer. Something this court needs to look into. My IQ is higher than 76. MSU parenting classes online.
What about it?
I've been taking them, so I don't understand why nobody has access.
Have you told anybody?
Oh, yes.
Who have you told?
Francisco Madrid. It seems like I need a new team or workers that's going to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Services are on the
expressed
way.
a certain amount of, I don't know, fear, anxiety.
Yeah, it causes a lot. It's caused a lot. I have a lot of fear on my.
I'm talking about the caseworkers.
What do you mean?
Well, they've expressed fear that they don't want to be around you.
Well, that they want to express that fear because my stepdad was an alleged limo driver for somebody, whether I should speak on it today or not.
Well, I'm talking about your personal behavior.
And well, I that's why I'd like an advocate, because they don't like the way I am, and I wasn't from the day Lincoln was grabbed up. That's why they're stating this, because I decided to have a meeting with Francesca Madrid, John Bailey, and Ashley Beach. Well, they said, John said he wouldn't say a few things in court, but I wished he would. Kind of like you. I want you to say Dustin from the frying pan to the fire, you know, or.
What is the context for that?
It's something you stated on the phone.
Yeah, but what are you talking about? That's a common phrase, you know?
From having him for 140 days, we had a good relationship.
All right.
I took him to Torch Lake, I took him to Lake Michigan, I took him all around. My health got worse. I kept telling him that. He knew that. Everybody knew that. Everybody kept saying, well, I want to see a diagnosis. I want to see this. Anna kept saying it. Many people kept saying it. My mother kept saying it. Well, parasites are real. And if they're cancer, well, that's why I never got an 8-year diagnosis. Well,
So
I don't
you
believe.
do seem to be jumping around to a lot of different places.
I am,
And I'm
because
sure
my
if I'm
autism
having trouble,
and my ADD and my dyslexia.
please let me finish the question. If I'm having trouble following you, I'm sure
Everybody
the
will.
judge is, okay? So let's try to stick to one subject at a time, not just jump to the next thing that comes to your head, okay?
Okay.
Now, they say that you are not dependable to show up for hearings, or not hearings, but for appointments with service workers. Did you hear them say that?
They stated that, but what day are they stating? They never stated a day. The day I missed it was with you, and I explained it, and then they didn't explain nothing from the email. And I asked them to make a new one, and they said, would you like Mr. Brooks there? And I said, yes, ma'am, I would. Francisca Madrid asked me that, I don't know, within the last 2 to 3 weeks, and then she was surprised at this last meeting that she went to downtown Adrian with me, and she left, and I didn't get to ask her.
Well, I was at that family team meeting.
Yeah, the one I missed, but they were supposed to make a new one, and she asked me if you were gonna be involved, and I said, yes, I would love him there, because I don't like the way I'm being ran under the railroad.
The subject is why are you missing so many appointments?
I missed my phone appointment for the class online on the 15th. I told her that was the last day we had court. So then what happened? We rescheduled it. I got a phone the same day.
And then what? Did you make the next appointment?
The next parenting times, yes, but not the next family team meeting because it was never made. So a little accusatory goes both ways. I believe there's a two-way street in life. Whether me being me as an individual or the courts being the courts.
Are there other meetings that you've missed?
I don't believe so.
Is there anything else that you want to tell the court at this point?
I believe that Leslie Conrad should be looked into about my kid having a gate slammed into him. She bit him with him running up front. I asked her, I said, can I go up there and get him? She said, no, you cannot. That was wrote in an email the other way around.
Who bit who?
Lincoln bit Leslie Conrad after she pulled his arms up. The worker at Fostering Solutions that works for John.
And how old is Lincoln?
5 years old now.
Okay.
She didn't like that. I said, well, he bites. I said, maybe you should be profound in autism, you know, find out about it like I have in the last 5 years. I found out that I'm autistic. Well, I'm on the way. So she ripped Lincoln up. And after that, after I got confrontational about it, because I was sitting back here and I decided to, not confrontational, but more so, lack of words, sorry. I'd say I got upset where I used the correct words to say, hey, you have a job here to do. You shouldn't be doing that. I said, that's how I lost my child, or how they're saying I lost my child. because my children have sensory issues, which my daughter did not want her shoes on. Yeah. When Lee Jr. was the same way. When I first touched his feet to grass 12, 13 years ago, he lifted his feet right off the ground. Didn't even want nothing to do with it. I think we learn stuff every day as a board.
Sir, we're trying to stay on your case, not things your children are doing, okay? Do you understand that you have to?
Yes, I do.
Make these appointments?
Dad just admitted on the stand he's paranoid and has autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and 3 mutated genes, but won't provide any medical documentation. He blames everyone else. The caseworkers, the system, and even a visit supervisor he accused of slamming his son into a baby gate. He's missing appointments, refusing help, and can't stay on topic. The judge is trying to help him understand, but he keeps interrupting and deflecting blame.
Do you understand that?
My services are on the waiting list at not Fostering Solutions, Masterpiece and CTAC and Renee Moore.
Well,
So
you just heard the
Right,
caseworker
and you
say,
just heard me too.
can I speak?
Yes.
You just heard the caseworker state that she contacted Masterpiece and they don't know who you are.
On what day? Because I have an intake form that I went over there and took in. Maybe because it's the paranoia that I have from the Hoffa disappearance, allegedly.
Are you paranoid, sir?
Yeah, much so. Very much so, and I'm been lied to all my life about it.
Do you think that may be part of your sensory
Yes.
perception
Yes,
issues?
it's my sensory depth perception issue. You're correct. It's no other reason.
Do you think going to these service providers might give you A, insight, and B, some help
Oh, yeah.
in controlling that?
100%, but I need stress management with what I just said.
Then why don't you keep the appointments?
What do you mean? They ain't been made. Nobody's made them with me. What do you mean? You're coming at me wrong.
Well, according to the caseworker,
Right, if they're coming at me wrong.
According to the caseworker, you have not kept any appointments that you're supposed to keep.
We just went through this. Why are you asking me the same question?
Because you haven't
It's on
been very
record.
clear.
Review record.
Will you agree to keep your appointment?
Yes, long as they give me them. I have missed them because of my autism, dyslexia, and my ADD. Now, stress management with all this going on, my kids are my regression. My kids not being here, my kids helped me get through the last 5 years of my life. Nobody knows that but me and my doctors and many people.
What doctors?
Well, let's see, John Baker, Dr. Mike Mohammed Elderani from Dearborn, for one. He took a picture with him the first time he seen him because he's a fight doctor in Michigan. Life Medical Center. He said the same thing I said in there, but he'd probably lose his license if I said it on YouTube. I'm not going to say it.
Is there anything else you'd like the court to know?
I'd like them to start finding a way to people's health a little more so than what the doctors are doing today. And
Could I paraphrase that by saying you're asking for
a little bit of help, like I was told I was going to get in life. And I've been misdiagnosed at 37 years old.
Well, I'm just talking about since your kids were born.
But I'm just saying, since my kids were born, I've been autistic with 3 mutated genes for some reason. I don't understand it. But I hope the Human Health Secretary, Robert Kennedy Jr., gets down to the bottom of it.
Okay. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Questions, Ms. Thomas?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. King, you indicated that your oldest son, who's now with his mom, that you had a great relationship when he was with you for 140 days?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you keep him safe?
I tried my darndest, other than the time that he went with Kirsten. I can't control his behavior when he wasn't on his medicine, when his mother didn't send it. And I didn't like hydroceph, so I couldn't get him into other doctors.
So it's everybody else's fault?
No, it's not, but what you heard is the correct truth. And what I feel like you guys are doing is undermining me completely because of my disabilities or disorders, when there's many other people in this world that are continuing drug habits, and I know it. Like, I probably should stay online, because you guys know a factor in it. I already said so at my family team meeting.
What does that have to do with your children?
Well, it's got a lot to do with it when people of the law choose and pick who they want to help and who they don't want to.
So,
You know, my dad was a cop for 24 years in Permanency, and I hadn't been in trouble until I was 24 years old. You do realize that, correct?
no, I have no knowledge of your
Oh, you should.
prior history. But Dustin, why do you feel like your minor kids were removed from your care then?
Because of my lack of interest of the health department in life, with my lack of health, when John Baker, John Kelly, it took me 8 years to get to a correct doctor to find out what's wrong with my health.
Okay, so have you provided any documentation to Fostering Solutions or to anybody in this case about your autism, ADHD, dyslexia, mutated genes,
Sure,
or any of those
You
things?
guys are in lack of accordance to take care of the matters.
Can you provide, I haven't seen any documentation with respect to your diagnoses. Are you able to provide that to the
I
board?
can email it to you.
Okay.
If you give me an email address, you're right.
You can provide it to your attorney and he can provide it to
I
us.
provided it to, I think I got to provide it to him, but it is provided to my doctor, Mike Elderani.
Okay, can you have your doctors provide that to?
I signed release forms to Miss Beach. And like I said, you guys got too many cases in your matter. And we need a little bit more people. I don't like telling people how to do their job, but I'm sure I could contract somewhere to along that line, because my brother is pretty smart. He's sitting pretty well placed in life.
So what have you done in your case service plan over the last reporting
Well, I
period?
took my classes. I missed probably 2, I believe. I'd like to get more from Tyler, but I'm not going to have a queer in my corner because I'm not with things like that. And that's why he chose to not want anything to do with me, apparently. I have to get my phone screen fixed to be able to give text message information, or you guys can get that yourself from him.
So I
He
apologize.
went back and forth.
Who is Tyler?
Tyler Kurkowski, I think. I can't say his last name correct.
And what was his role in your case?
Supposed to be able to give more services.
And you were refusing those because of his
No,
sexual orientation?
I didn't refuse them. He refused them because I didn't give him a correct day.
You just indicated
No,
something
no,
about
no, no,
his
hold on.
orientation.
That's not the complete reason. The complete reason is he told me that I had to choose a day, and I forgot to choose a day. So I said, can we go farther? He said, no. I asked Francisca or Ashley if I could have somebody else, and nobody's giving me anybody else.
You indicated you refused to work with him anymore because he's
I
quote
have fear.
unquote.
I have
Can you please let me
phobias.
finish my question?
Sorry.
So you're indicating you're refusing to work with that person because of his sexual orientation?
I have phobias.
Do you believe that your mental health needs to be treated?
No, I believe what it is, what my mental health problem is, I just stated it on record. I'm going to do it once more. I believe what is wrong with this world is a lack of obedience to find the scientists that matter to get things done. If I have to become one, I will. I cannot advocate for my children right now, like John Bailey told me, but I'm the one that advocated to figure out Lincoln has autism. That's what you guys are lacking to understand. Your guys' lack of accountability in my life that misdiagnosed me at 37 years old. That is a big, widespread problem with me.
What does that have?
Because I lost a child 2 years ago due to pneumococcal antibodies that were given to Kirsten before my daughter was born.
Judge, I have no further questions. This isn't going anywhere. Thank you.
Okay. Any redirect, Mr. Brooks?
No.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Any other witnesses, Mr. Brooks?
No, you're right.
Ms. Underwood?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Thomas, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I believe that this hearing has been demonstrative of the concerns that the service providers have reported, the concerns that the agency continues to have. The agency has continued to offer reasonable efforts to ensure that Mr. King can comply with his case service plan, and his lack of personal accountability or responsibility prohibits or inhibits him from being able to do so. And in that, there's extreme paranoia, extreme mental health concerns here that really do need to be addressed. And until they are, he does remain a risk of harm to his children and likely to himself and others. So, Your Honor, we are asking the court to continue the suspension of his parenting time, to set this for another 90-day review, and to monitor his progress. The agency will continue to do what they can. But, Your Honor, clearly it's very, very hard to even have a conversation with him. So thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
My goal here today was to try to impress on Mr. King how important it is that he make and keep his appointments with service providers. I hope it's sinking in and that he does do exactly that. Because
All my fault. Yeah, totally.
Okay, Mr. King, you've got to stop interrupting. You're welcome to wait in the hallway if you can't. Remain calm. It's on YouTube, so if you need to watch it later, you can. Go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
if he can, we aren't going to get anywhere. He needs to go. He doesn't even need to agree with these things, but he does need to show that he's willing to put himself out there so that he can get parenting time with his children. And I hope he listens to this. If he has other issues, I just don't know what they are. Thank you.
Ms. Underwood.
Your Honor, these cases are very difficult because as the LGAL, a lot of times I do believe that, again, it's important for children to maintain a bond and parenting time with their parents. But on the same token, it needs to be safe for the children, and it needs to be, the parents need to be able to provide some type of benefit to the children during their time that they have. Unfortunately, Mr. King, it almost seems like his behavior and his mental health is deteriorating over the course of this case, as he's not only demonstrating now, but he also demonstrated on the stand, and has demonstrated it every time I have attempted to communicate with him.
Mr. King, I am having a lot of trouble hearing Ms. Underwood, and I'm going to have to ask you to step into the hallway if you continue to interrupt.
It's unfortunate that I would also have to agree that parenting time for Mr. King with his children is contrary to their best interest, as his mental health is not well, and it's a sad situation that he's in. However, it is really up to Mr. King to take action. The department can only do so much. I would agree with Ms. Thomas that the department has made reasonable efforts, if not active efforts, to be honest. This has been a very complicated case, and they've had all hands on deck here. We've had Ms. Brittany Moore involved. Again, we've had Jackson DHHS involved. We have tried to work together for the safety and benefit of all 4 of these children. And they're all doing better than they were when they were in Mr. King's care. So for those reasons, I would ask that parenting time continue to be suspended for Mr. King, that we have a standard 90-day review, and that the children all remain where they're continuing to be at now, as that is the safest and least restrictive environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, record should reflect all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's hearing, which was a review as well as a permanency planning hearing. But it is, in fact, the first review for Mr. King, who has had to be asked to leave the courtroom in order to avoid further disruptions I want to just note for the record also that he was provided with a pen and paper in order to try to alleviate his need to communicate verbally with his attorney. And he was able to utilize that in some respects, but in many respects, that was not enough to avoid the interruptions. And it resulted in him being asked to be excused from the courtroom at this time. The question of the goal was not thoroughly addressed by the attorneys or the investigation by the department today. I'm going to leave it at reunification, noting that our next review will also be a permanency planning hearing to look at whether or not there's been enough progress to allow the goal to remain reunification. At this time, the reasonable efforts provided by the agency in this case, Fostering Solution, are certainly adequate, as are the efforts made by Ms. Underwood in her capacity as guardian ad litem, as are the efforts of our attorneys. It is a complicated case, and I think Mr. Brooks has done a great job in trying to communicate with his client. In this case, is have all of our caseworkers. The issue of missed appointments for Mr. King is one that impacts the question of whether or not his parenting time could be reinstated. Mr. Brooks did a great job of trying to bring that home for Mr. King today, and I'm going to review for the record some of the things that continue to stand in the way of allowing the court to reinstate parenting time. I'm going to start first with comments about the psychological evaluation, which Mr. King did attend, but I don't know that I've ever, maybe one other case I've ever seen a psychological evaluation come back and say that parenting time should be suspended until someone has had a period. In this case, the recommendation is a period of mental stability for at least 6 months with no hospitalizations, demonstrating control of his emotion, and not displaying any psychotic behavior, along with progress on the above goals before supervised visits could be considered. He was referred to Ms. Moore. He was referred to Adrian Psychiatric and Counsel. He did not make either of those appointments. He has consistently indicated he's not interested in taking any medications. He reports some diagnoses, but those have not been verified, and he has not cooperated with additional referrals in order to do that. There were some other things that were missed opportunities for him as well. Of course, the ACPC psychiatric evaluation and assessment has completed a substance abuse disorder screening or any testing on those points, despite insisting that THC can be used in order to medicate some of his self-reported diagnoses. And of course, the dangers associated with high concentrations of THC with psychological disorders is very well known. And that continues to obviously be a risk that would affect the security of his children during parenting time. He was referred to Orchard's Family Assistance Programming, which is an assisted parenting time program, which has supervisors. It's a high structure. He was referred back in February. They attempted twice to initiate those services with Mr. King, and they have since ceased their attempts since those were not successful. He has had some domestic violence counseling in the past, but obviously that's been inefficient or ineffective given the issues present at the outset of the case around domestic violence that have affected his children, his relationship with his partner. He's been referred to domestic violence counseling and has not attended that either. So all of these missed opportunities continue to contribute to, I think, what Ms. Thomas rightly pointed out today, which is a continued decompensation of the mental health of Mr. King. Ms. Underwood also confirms that this in her own observations. And of course, it's nothing against Mr. King, but the priority of this court is to ensure that the children of Mr. King have a safe environment. And at this time, due to the risk associated with allowing parental contact between Mr. King and his children, I am not able to reinstate that. He has to address those mental health issues. That's supported by a psychological evaluation, that's supported by Ms. Brene Moore, that's supported by our guardian ad litem, our caseworker, and frankly by the court's own observations during the testimony of Mr. King, rather consistently over the course of the past few years. We'll look at parenting time again, of course, in the next report period. All of those same reasons, coupled also with the fact that he has not disclosed really any other residence other than his mother's which he's refused to allow to be assessed for safety and has been reported in the past as being unsafe, unsuitable. He hasn't reported or allowed any verification of income. So really in some of the basic areas as well, Mr. King continues to struggle, likely because of those address mental health issues. But of course, we won't be able to do anything more by extension through the department or the agency until and unless he's decided to cooperate with services. But some of those basic need pieces are still not being met either, in addition to the risks associated with his mental health. So there's many reasons, unfortunately, that the children could not be returned to Mr. King today, nor allowed to engage in parenting time. I will note that there are a lot of concerns that I share with Mr. King about his child's placement. Those have been continually discussed by the attorneys, and I would hope that in the next report period we could look at that. I'm going to appoint Dustin Jr. An attorney to try to advocate for him in the next few hearings, considering that he's also objected to his placement. And it sounds like he's got some pretty legitimate objections on that piece. So we'll appoint him an attorney and look at that a little more seriously in the next report period. We'll do our next review in 3 months, which puts us into August. Schedule this for Monday, August 11th at 10:30 in the morning for an hour and a half. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck, Mr. Brooks.
Final verdict. Parenting time stays suspended. Dad has to complete psychiatric services, prove 6 months of stability, and stop missing appointments before he can even see his kids again. The judge said it plainly. His mental health is deteriorating, not improving. And here's the kicker. The oldest son, placed with his mom out of county, is also in danger due to neglect and abuse allegations. The system's trying to help, but Dad has to meet them halfway. Will he? We'll find out in August.